Happiest time of his life, just days after walking down the aisle with the woman he loved, just days after sharing joyful wedding photos with his fans across the world, Diogo Jota is gone. At just 28 years old, the Liverpool forward's life was cut short in a violent, fiery crash, one that also claimed the life of his younger brother. But how could such a beloved, respected football star at the peak of his career end up the victim of such a horrific accident? And why are so many people still asking questions? This is the untold story behind the shocking death of Diogo Jota, and the heartbreak no one saw coming. It happened just after midnight. The roads in Zamora, a quiet region of Spain, were almost empty until a sleek Lamborghini sped by. Behind the wheel was Diogo Jota. His younger brother Andre Silva sat beside him. According to Spanish authorities, the car attempted to overtake another vehicle when suddenly tragedy struck. A tire burst. The Lamborghini veered off the road at high speed, then erupted into flames. By the time emergency responders arrived, it was too late. The fire had consumed the vehicle. Diogo Jota and his brother were both pronounced dead at the scene. But while the physical damage was devastating, what came next would hit even harder. Because this crash wasn't just a senseless accident, it was the end of a story that had just begun a new chapter. Barely a week earlier, Jota had looked happier than ever. On June 2020, he married his longtime partner, Ruth Cardoso, the mother of his 3 children and the love of his life. The ceremony was intimate, filled with family, laughter, and moments fans would later describe as pure joy. Jota had even shared the wedding photos online, smiling, dancing, embracing the woman he called his rock. To those who knew him, this wedding wasn't just a celebration. It was a fresh start, a new era, personally and professionally. But no one knew those images would be the last happy moments fans would ever see. In just 11 days, the groom in white had become the face of a national tragedy. And his brother, the quiet, determined footballer trying to carve out his own path, was gone with him. Andre Silva wasn't as famous as his older brother, but to those who followed Portuguese football, his name still rang with promise. At just 25 years old, Andre had spent years grinding through the youth academies of some of Portugal's most respected clubs, Porto, Gondomar, and eventually Penafiel. He wasn't flashy, he wasn't loud, but on the field, he was steady, smart, and hungry. He'd made nearly 60 appearances in just 2 seasons for Penafiel in Portugal's second tier, and those close to him believed the best was yet to come. He and Diogo were more than brothers. They were teammates, motivators, best friends. Their bond was rooted in football, but it ran far deeper than goals and glory. Now, both brothers were gone, leaving behind not just grieving parents, partners, and children, but also a nation struggling to make sense of what had happened. Diogo Jota was never the loudest star on the pitch, but he didn't need to be. From his early days with Paços de Ferreira to a transfer to Atletico Madrid at just 19, it was clear he had something special. After a season on loan at Porto, he moved to Wolves, first on loan, then permanently. That's when everything clicked. His 44 goals in 131 appearances made him one of the Premier League's most efficient forwards. But it was his 2020 move to Liverpool in a stunning £41 million deal that truly cemented his status. In just 4 years, he became a fan favorite at Anfield, scoring 65 goals in 182 appearances, helping the club win the FA Cup, the League Cup, and the Premier League title in 2024. But perhaps more impressive than his stats was how he played, unselfishly, with grit and joy. He made his international debut for Portugal in 2019, scoring 14 goals in 49 appearances and helping them win the Nations League just weeks before his death. He wasn't just a footballer, he was a rising icon. And now, just like that, he was history. Despite his fame, Jota never forgot where he came from. Friends described him as quietly generous. Teammates called him humble and hardworking. He was a leader without shouting, a star without ego. The Portuguese Football Federation said it best. More than an amazing player, Diogo Jota was an extraordinary extraordinary person, respected by all teammates and opponents, someone with an infectious joy. Liverpool said they were devastated. Wolves said, Diogo was adored by our fans, loved by his teammates, and cherished by everyone who worked with him. But perhaps the most heart-wrenching tribute came from those who knew him best, his wife, his children, his family. Now forced to navigate life without the man who lit up every room. Portugal was stunned. Within hours